Welcome to the Spokane City Council briefing session. Welcome to the Spokane City Council briefing session. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Council President Beggs.
Here.
Councilmember Bingle.
Here.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Present.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Present.
Councilmember Stratton.
Here.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Present.
Councilmember Sapone.
Here.
Let the record reflect that all council members are present.
All right, and before we get to briefing, we have a boards and commission interview. We have Barbara Coe on the video screen.
I have no sound, sorry.
Okay. Well, we can hear you, but you probably can't hear me.
I have no sound, I'm trying to figure out what I need to do here.
Okay.
Not unmute.
I guess you can't hear me, but we can hear you.
I don't know if you can hear me, but
We
I
can.
can barely hear
We
you.
send her some kind of
We
smoke
can hear
signal.
you.
She can't hear us.
I can barely hear you. I have my
She can't hear
speakers
us.
as high as I
Okay.
can go. As it can go.
Can you hear me
Oh,
now?
there you are.
All right. All right.
Yes, perfectly.
All right. Well, before we get to briefing, we're going to have a brief interview with Barbara, and she is a nominee for the Citizens Transportation Advisory Board from Councilmember Wilkerson. So, Barbara, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in serving on the CTAB.
Sure. After I moved to Spokane, I just thought I'd like to make a contribution somehow if I can. And so I was looking at the citizen boards and thinking that that fit my background pretty well. My first professional work was in transportation planning. And then I became very interested while I was doing transportation planning in citizen involvement in transportation. So serving on a transportation citizens advisory board would be very much up my alley. And I went on from there to do other things. I worked internationally quite a lot in mostly civil society development and working in different ways to enhance democracy. And one other thing, I have a PhD in public administration, so after finishing my degree, I worked a lot with all levels of government, either as a consultant or as an employee in different areas.
Thank you. That's great. Any questions for Barbara? Councilmember Wilkerson.
I have none. Just want to thank you, Barbara, for stepping up to volunteer. And I was truly impressed with your professional life and your volunteerism. So I know you will be an asset to the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, Barbara, thank you so much. We will be back in touch once we've voted on your nomination, but you can expect to be serving in the near future. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I look forward to it.
Okay. Great. So we're going to move to the advanced briefing in a moment, but we have the mayor joining us. Today she wanted to speak on one of the issues that's set for first reading ordinance next week, which is one of the alternative camping ordinances. I did share with the administration that's probably going to get tabled due in part to a pretty long legal memo we got from the senior lawyer working on that of things that needed to be addressed, and I gave her the option of coming back another time, but she's ready, and so we're glad to have you, Mayor, so go ahead.
Thank you so much, Council President and Council members, for considering updates to the city's laws regulating illegal camping and sit and lie on sidewalks and in doorways. Court rulings since each was enacted have limited our ability to enforce both as they are currently written. So a revision is critical to meet those standards and to maintain our community's expectation for the safety, health, and wellness for all who use our public spaces. We know from feedback that people are nearly unanimous in their desire for something to be done about public camping. There has been wide-ranging discussions for many, many months in the community and here at City Hall about how to update our ordinances that regulate camping and sit and lie. The urgent issues of hazardous encampments and sit and lie enforcement are identified as top priorities by the Downtown Spokane Partnership Board in their policy platform. In fact, the call for action now on those issues were recently reiterated in DSP Board Chair Chris Batten's guest column recently in the Spokesman Review. So I'm joining Council Members Bingle and Cathcart in proposing revisions that clarify enforcement and set expectations for the public, for public health and safety, by designating specific areas where camping, sitting, and lying in public spaces is prohibited at all times, regardless of shelter availability. The changes that we're proposing establish clear time and place restrictions in the downtown area, in and around railroad viaducts, around congregate shelters, and along riverbanks. The updates separate camping and sit-and-lie ordinances. They combine the best ideas for each of those proposals into something that accounts for the health, safety, and welfare of everyone who use our sidewalks and public spaces. So specifically, the ordinances would prohibit camping at all times in and around 100 feet of railroad viaducts on city-owned park property within 35 feet of the Spokane River and Latah Creek, within the downtown police precinct and the business improvement district boundaries, and within a half-mile of city-supported congregate shelters. Additionally, these updates allow enforcement where there is congested foot traffic, fire hazard, damage to infrastructure, or any other safety hazard. So I am asking you to do what our community has been begging all of us to do, and that is to take action to make our public spaces safe, healthy, and accessible for all who live downtown, who own businesses and property downtown, and those who work and visit our beautiful downtown. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And now we can go on to the, oh, sorry.
Yep. Well, I guess there was a comment made about the legality of this, and so I'm wondering, just rather than let that hang out there, can our city attorney address that?
Thank you. I have that question too.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Councilmember Cathcart, President. Good afternoon, everyone. There goes my phone. One of them. I don't want to get too deep into a legal analysis. If we want to do that, we can go into executive session because we do have some concerns there. Now, the statute or the ordinance that is proposed, it defendable. The city will defend every lawsuit that is filed against us, correct? So we can't avoid a lawsuit. If somebody has $300, they can go down and file a lawsuit. We're probably going to face that. Does it seek to limit risk? It does. It does seek to limit exposure to the city for overstepping the bounds? Absolutely. And that's the reason that we have been involved in the drafting, and we do believe that it does that. But if we want to discuss further, we can. We just need to probably be in executive session.
So,
Councilmember Stratton.
so what you're saying is that if we can expect a lawsuit over this, or that that confused me a little bit.
Sure.
And why would we go anywhere where there is fear if we can decrease the fear of a lawsuit? This makes me nervous.
Absolutely. But every city on the West Coast that has enacted any ordinance has faced a lawsuit and legal challenges. That's how the Boise case came to be. It's a nature of the beast. The law is not precise. It's on a continuum, so we can put in place an ordinance, and we may believe that it is the best ordinance we put forward, and the next day somebody can file a lawsuit, and we have to defend it. So I hear you, and we are seeking to limit that specter, but I cannot stand here and give you any guarantees.
I would just worry about taxpayers and taxpayer money.
100%.
And what it costs to defend those lawsuits is concerning.
Absolutely, and that's what we do on the 5th floor every day. We look at that.
Councilmember Cathcart.
But just for clarification, I mean, there's two versions of a camping ordinance that are out there.
Yes.
Are either or both defendable in court, do you believe?
We will defend every lawsuit that is filed against the city, and both of them reduce the risk to the city.
Any other questions for Mr. Smithson? Councilmember Wilkerson.
Thank you. So I didn't get real clarity on that question, other than you would defend both. So legally, where you would weigh in, that's one. And the question, not to be answered here today, but continues to be asked, where are the people going to go? And we have not been able to answer that. And yes, there is a need. We know that. We hear that. But where are the people going to go? And until we can really step up, have some type of plan forward, it's really challenging to support something that almost eliminates the biggest part of the city. So that's just my thought on that.
Understood. Understood.
Any other questions or comments for Mr. Smithson? All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate it.
All right. I think we can go to the rest of the August 1st agenda briefing.
Thank you, Council President,
I'm
members of the...
sorry, I thought we were
I'm-
moving on. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Bingle.
I hear what everybody is saying, and I hear what Mr. Smithson is saying. As we were drafting up our version of the sit and lie ordinance that's been proposed that will likely be deferred today, we looked to other cities who had already enacted similar sit and lie ordinances, and ones that have not been successfully challenged in court. And our version is a fraction of what other cities have done. And while this will probably get some lawsuits because people won't like what we're doing, that doesn't mean that it's not the good or moral or right thing to do. Because any time you're doing something that people are going to dislike, especially something where there's going to be a great dislike for it, you can expect some challenges. And so just because it might be challenged in court or likely will be challenged in court does not necessarily mean that it's wrong or that it's not the right thing to do. And so I would encourage us to keep that in mind, that just because that means people aren't necessarily going to think that it's the best thing for the city, it can still also be the right thing. And for us to move forward could be the right thing to do.
Councilmember Zepone.
Yeah, can I ask the mayor a question or two?
Mayor, come on back.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in and sharing your perspective with us. I remember seeing your press conference for this being called a compromise. I was wondering how this is considered a compromise. It seems like you're aligning with 2 council members, but there are 2 others that have an ordinance going forward too.
There are some similarities between the 2 ordinances, but I would say the one that Cathcart Bingle and my administration have been working on does go further. And that's what I think will make the difference for our downtown and our environment. And I think that's what people want.
So is it a compromise from the council president and Councilmember Kinnear ordinance, and did you work with them to find the middle?
Our legal department, the administration's legal department, has been working with them. So, yeah.
So not concessions to it. And then my second question is, if we're looking to enforce a large amount of space, all of downtown, parks, viaducts, the river, who's doing that enforcing? And I know our police are already too busy to respond to a lot of things.
Yeah.
So how are we
have
gonna,
code enforcement as well.
I know code enforcement is also too busy to respond to things. I
Well,
get
that doesn't
complaints.
mean we don't do things. We don't. We are understaffed as a city organization, just like lots of city organizations, and we continue to provide the services that our citizens expect of us. So that doesn't stop us from doing things.
Right, so
Yeah.
we might not respond to other things though.
No, I wouldn't say that. I think we're capable of doing a lot at the city, and our wonderful employees are an example of that.
Thank you.
I have a quick comment. So Councilman Cathcart and I actually put out a version that was much more strict than this. And so I think the version that is before us today that will likely be deferred is the middle ground. We included many more business districts. We included around schools and hospitals. I mean, what we had originally put forward was much more strict than this. This version does go farther than the other one that's been proposed, but I think this really is the middle ground in all of it because, again, the amount that we're asking to cover in the city is maybe 10% of the city, whereas when you look at cities like, again, LA, which was an example for us, covers roughly 60% of the city, and it has not been successfully challenged in court. That's very important to say. It has not been successfully challenged in court. And so I believe this version that the administration worked quite diligently on, that the legal department worked quite diligently on, is very much a middle ground between the two versions. And while it's not necessarily everything that I would have want covered in there, I thought the mayor and her administration at her direction did a very good job of bringing it together and finding something that the legal department, I believe, can defend in court. So, and one other thing that should be said is that it might be interesting to know what legal challenges can come the city's way for not enacting something like this. I think that's an interesting point to be made as well, whereas not doing anything, we can open ourselves up for legitimate lawsuits as well.
Any other questions or comments? All right. That first reading ordinance was thoroughly briefed, so let's go on to the rest of the agenda.
Thank you, Council President. Good afternoon, members of the City Council. Johnny Perkins, City Administrator. This is the advance briefing for Monday, August 1st. On the consent agenda, item 1, contract amendment with Spokane Testing Solutions, adding hearing examinations. My apologies. Our presenter is Mike Piccolo.
Good afternoon. This contract amendment was briefed to the Finance Committee last week. This is the one with Spokane Testing Solutions to add another contractor for some of these pre-employment exam, physical exam, hearing exam that we need to have accomplished. The provider we have right now simply cannot cover the number of tests that need to be done, so the hiring process is being delayed. This will give us another contractor, so the money spent on this contract would not be spent on the other contractor, so it should be budget neutral. Are there any questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Piccolo. Items 2 and 3. Item 2, low bid to be determined. I believe the bid opening was today. Mr. Buller's going to let us know that. For Monroe Grind and Overlay, that's item 2. Item 3 is a local area A&E professional services consultant agreement with Paramatrix to design and potentially be the construction administration for the Garland Avenue Pathway Project. Mr. Buller.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Item 2, Monroe Grind and Overlay Project, which is blank on your agenda. We opened bids this afternoon, and Inland Infrastructure of Spokane is the apparent low bidder for $1.549 million, to which we propose to set aside a 10% administrative reserve. We still need to check this bid carefully to make sure that it meets all the appropriate criteria. This project grinds and overlays Monroe Street from the bridge to Boone Avenue. Inland Infrastructure's bid was one of 3 and was under the engineer's estimate by about $113,000 or 7%. While it's possible this project will be constructed this year, it's more likely it'll be a 23 project, and it's funded primarily with arterial street funds. And item 3, it's a proposed contract with Parametrics of Spokane to design and potentially assist with construction administration for the Garland Avenue Pathway Project. This project proposed to construct in 2023, 10-foot wide path along Garland in the vicinity of Shaw Middle School and New Tech Skill Center, and is mostly paid with federal grant funding. Parametrics was selected via request for qualifications as outlined in state law.
Thank you, Mr. Buller. Nice to see you. Item 4, recommendation to list the Otto and Catherine Hansen House on the Spokane Registry of Historic Places. Our briefer is Megan Duval, and I believe Ms. Duval is online.
I am. Thank you very much. I will share my screen. And, okay, so I will run quickly through this. I'm hearing myself echo. Okay, there we go. I'll run quickly through what the Spokane Register of Historic Places is. It is our local program. We make the decisions for what we list. Voluntary, which does require the consent of the owner for listing. This is how we protect our historic resources through management agreements. Design review is only when a building permit is sought for the exterior of these properties, and this is also how we offer incentives to our historic properties. In order to be eligible, generally properties need to be 50 years or older, and then they have to meet one of our criteria that's listed in the Spokane Municipal Code. We can list buildings, sites, districts, structures, and objects. We have our 5 categories. Category A is broad patterns of history. Category B is an association with a significant person in Spokane. Category C is architecture, design, or construction. D is our prehistory or history under the ground. and E is our cultural heritage. Okay, so we get to our nomination for today. Built in 1908, the Otto and Catherine Hansen House is a good example of an arts and crafts home designed in the Craftsman style. It is located in the Cliff Cannon neighborhood, and the address is 1220 West 11th Avenue. The property is surrounded by an architecturally and historically mixed residential neighborhood with tree-lined streets consisting of both single-family homes and multi-family units built between the 1890s and 1974. The Hansen House is eligible for listing on the Spokane Register of Historic Places under Category C for its architectural significance. The house has 1.5 stories, a low-pitched composition shingle roof, widely overhanging unenclosed eaves, extended roof rafters and rafter tails, horizontal clapboard siding, basalt stone rubble mix foundation, and a variety of original wood sash, double-hung, and multi-paned casement windows. The home's single-story full-width front porch supports a small gabled porch pediment located on the east end of the porch's facade. Thick tapered wood pillars are attached to the porch wall and support the roof of the front porch. The interior of the Hansen House has 1,068 finished square feet at the first floor and 854 finished square feet on the second floor. The basement is mostly unfinished. The entry hall, staircase, balustrade, and living room are finished with fine-grade, vertical, and curly fir woodwork finished to a rich ebony hue. The oak floor in the living room is highlighted with narrow, decorative inlaid strips of walnut and mahogany. The focal point of the living room is a fireplace on the west wall made with textured basalt cobbled clicker brick and an original red matte ceramic tile. A focal point of the dining room is a built-in hutch and buffet made of ebony-colored fir. The rest of the main level of the house consists of an addition that includes a modern kitchen and family room. The second floor of the house has 3 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a sleeping porch with the casement windows. The house was constructed by real estate developer Albion McLaughlin. In September of 1908, McLaughlin sold the house to Otto Hansen, a Northern Pacific Railway conductor, engineer, and contractor, and his wife Catherine Reese Hansen. The Hansens paid McLaughlin $5,500 for the property and became the first homeowners to live there. The Otto and Catherine Hansen House was reviewed by the Spokane Historic Landmarks Commission on June 15th. It retains very good integrity and original location, design, materials, workmanship, and association, and is eligible for listing on the Spokane Register of Historic Places under Category C for its architectural significance as a good example of an arts and crafts house in the Craftsman style. And that concludes my report.
Thanks, Megan. Any questions for Megan?
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Item 5, Community Housing and Human Services Affordable Housing Committee recommendation for the support services notice of funding availability. Our presenter, I believe, is also online, is Mr. George Dahl.
Good afternoon, Council. This agenda item is for the allocation of approximately $10 million to support affordable housing development projects in Spokane. The recommendations that were approved by the Community Housing and Human Services Department will create 227 new units of affordable housing and rehab 54 units of existing.
Probably done. Yeah. No questions? Thank you, Mr. Dahl. Item 6, report of the mayor of pending claims and payments of previously approved obligation, including those of Parks and Library. A, payroll claims of previously approved obligations. B, 6A and 6B will be considered with their appropriate amounts on Monday, August 1st. Item 7, city council meeting minutes will also be filled in for consideration for council action on Monday, August 1.
Mr. Perkins, before we go to the legislative agenda, I think Councilmember Zappone wanted to bring a motion on the appointments.
Or CTAB.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to move to add Stefan Rodriguez to the District 3 Position 2 seat for a term ending August 1st, 2025. That was who we just interviewed earlier today.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of adding him to the list of potential appointments for next week indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? All right, he is added. Continue on.
Thank you, Council President. Legislative agenda, special budget ordinances. Our first ordinance, forfeitures and contributions fund. Action arises from the need to continue to expand the use of confidential funds. I wasn't sure if this is something that we were going to do defer.
We briefed it previously, but I don't know if Councilmember Kinnear is, are you wanting to defer it or not?
The forfeiture?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I would like to defer it for, what did I decide? 2 weeks?
Has to be 3 weeks. 'cause
Okay,
we're
3
gone.
weeks. 3 weeks.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yes, this is, if I could. We've had one meeting with Chief Meidel, and he's requesting another one, so I think we need to give him that consideration.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, Chief Meidel called me today and expressed just some concerns with the 120 and the effect that that'll have on the overall forfeiture fund. And so I think more time to figure that out is good.
We did come to kind of an agreement in principle that he didn't have an objection to it as long as there's enough money in reserves for future years. And so I think we're trying to come up with a formula that would be acceptable and objective, that everyone would know what it was. So it was a good meeting.
So I think one more meeting will solidify all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would be the 15th. So deferred to August 15th. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? That's deferred to the 15th.
Our next special budget ordinance comes from the Public Safety and Judicial Grant Fund. This action arises from the need to update training facilities and equipment. Our presenter is Major Eric Olson.
Thank you, council members, council president. I'm subbing in for Jackie, Director McConnell. She asked me to read this to you, so I'll do my best. Pursuant to the council president's request to determine how much of the department has actually invested in what the chief refers to as the evolution of public safety in regards to the department's request to spend $283,000 of the Public Safety and Judicial Grant Fund. I'm providing some additional details of training that have been conducted recently. We received $889,807 for these grant funds. To date, this is how those funds have been used. Pepper Ball Launching System and Shields have spent $213,800. We spent $69,341 on the hostage unit safety equipment. And currently remaining, there's $606,666, but that does not take into consideration an approved amount already of $192,000 for the TAC BRRT equipment. And then if you took away this additional $283,000, that would leave a remaining balance of $131,666. And I'm sure Director McConnell can forward this to you to follow up on that as well. Although none of these funds have been used specifically for training, except for the $3,000 in this SBO, the department has been conducting training, reform-related training since 2021. It should be noted that although money from these funds came in August 2021, they cannot be used right away as there was no approved budget, or they weren't in the approved budget. In 2021, the Spokane Police Department devoted the fall in-service, the entire in-service block, primarily to legislative updates, training which included classroom, pepper ball certifications, use of force, de-escalation, defensive tactics, and firearms related to the legislative reforms. Prior to the reforms taking place, many of us met to ensure the department policies were updated prior to the effective date. There was a lot of hours spent in the chief's conference room with both exec staff and subject matter experts along with legal. Additionally, supervisors were trained regarding the updates, and training was subsequently provided to the entire department prior to the updates being enacted or taking effect. Other departments in the area asked to attend our trainings as we were much ahead of our peers. It should be noted that due to telestaff issues, unfortunately, we were unable to pull the overtime associated with preparing for and training prior to the 2021 legislative reforms. That's when, obviously, Telestaff was hacked. Here's the list of training that we recall related to legislative reforms, but it's not an inclusive list. The police reform, new legislative training. The training unit worked with our city attorney's office to create a complete PowerPoint training that was put out to the whole department. We additionally met with the SPD supervisors separately to work through the legislation so that we could put it out to all of our officers. There were hundreds of hours put into discussing, revamping, and training the new laws. Number two, many of the less lethal tools were taken away from our department. We had to train on a new platform. Pepper ball was introduced to the department on a much larger scale, and we had to train all of our folks in that. A group of subject matter experts was pulled together to look at the policy and procedures to make sure the new laws were reflected in our manual. We had multiple meetings to research, discuss, and implement the new changes into the SPD Lexipol policy manual. The Academy sent our background investigators through some training on the new requirements expected of our applicants, as well as what is required when we do a background investigation. We trained not only for our department on the new legislation, but assisted the smaller departments as well. During fall in-service, we covered scenarios and body cam footage, talking through how the new legislation would affect the calls we go on. This information was shared department-wide. We continue to train de-escalation in both services, in-services, as well as our specialty team trainings. Summer 2022 in-service was devoted to ABLE training. Although we did not submit overtime against this grant, approximately 122.5 hours of training or instruction occurred on overtime. This totals approximately $8,591, sorry. It should be noted that most of the training has been on regular time for this or other legislative training that we have conducted. In 2022, we spent time training on additional changes to legislation, some of which was updated to the 2021 legislation. In regard to SPD and the evolution of public safety, the Spokane Police Department has been and continues to dedicate top-notch training in as much as we are known in the state as one of the best trained agencies, if not the best. We are routinely sought out for training that we provide. Is there other questions that I could potentially answer?
I guess, so that's very helpful, thank you. And I'm really happy of all the training, but this grant was for the money for the training, and so I'm a little perplexed why we don't have how many hours of training all the officers and all the supervisors and the trainers have gone through, because it seems like that's what we should be billing against this grant first, given our budget kind of hole that we're on staff time. So that's, I'm just looking like personnel, we know what we paid people for in-service training and things like that.
So much of our in-service training is done on shift.
Okay.
So it would not be that large into it. And like,
Doesn't have to be overtime. I think I mentioned overtime because she had said overtime before, but it could be just straight time. I'm assuming we could.
I don't know that we can bill our straight time to a grant. Typically, that's considered supplanting. I don't know that.
Yeah.
We can look into it. But I know that when we set up the training, like I said, we went over the manuals and the new laws and stuff. That was done largely on regular time, on regular shift time. Okay. So that is something I'd have to ask our
It'd be good to
payroll.
know, because I thought that's why they gave us the money, was to pay for us to train ourselves.
Yeah, I think it was not only that, but I think it was also provided to give us the implements and the tools to conduct the training and to do the work, like when we purchased the Pepper Balls launchers and some of those other tools that we didn't already have that we now needed in light of those reforms.
Well, it'd be good to learn more, because I don't want to spend down this whole thing when, if we have a big chunk of staff time that we should be billing against it, and then say, oh, it's too late, the money's gone.
100%, I'll see if we can bill back against that, but oftentimes we're not allowed on grants to supplant normal duty.
Sure. Councilmember Wilkerson.
Thank you. So I just want to ask, it asks for $70,000 to provide replacing aging flooring and carpeting. Not saying you don't need carpeting, but I'm trying to get the connection of how replacing carpeting connects to the training that this grant was provided for. So I need a nexus.
So the nexus, and again, I'm filling in for Director McConnell. The nexus as I see it is that this is maintaining a facility that we use to conduct our training. The facility has to be upkept in order for us to continue to use it to do these trainings and to conduct the trainings for outside agencies. We just can't continue to let it defer maintenance. We can't continue to do that.
And I hear you on that. I'm just wondering why it wasn't put in to another budget instead of this grant, just ongoing facilities maintenance, because that $70,000 to be added back to this amount would be a nice additional resource. So I'm just saying, is this the best place to take that $70,000 from, or is there other resources and capital improvements that it could come from? That's just the question.
And from our budget line, it is the best place as seen fit by the chief and Director McConnell, because they've looked at that budget to see where there's capacity.
Okay.
Is the carpet or flooring that's being replaced, do you by chance know, is that in the kind of training rooms where a lot of the training takes place within the academy?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so that makes a ton of sense then.
Yeah.
Councilmember Zepone.
Yeah, thank you. I had a question. Is this the type of funds that would use to help officers understand changes around like Terry stops and things like that?
That's exactly the type of training we conducted through, like I said, those in-services. Those are the types of things we have spent a lot of time going over. What are the legal requirements? What are those things? And have done those trainings at that department in service.
Well, I have a lot of concerns about that I've talked to City Administrator Perkins about and the mayor about. I've heard directly from officers saying that they're very confused about what's allowed and not allowed with Terry stops. I've been told that legal has trained and told them that, but yet officers are still confused to this day. It has turned into situations where my direct neighbor had a situation with a gun pulled on him, and officers did not pursue, saying they couldn't, when indeed they were able to, according to legal about what's allowed, of course, technicalities and stuff like that.
I think I remember that incident, and it happened around the time prior to us getting this up and implemented and getting people out on the street ready. As with any major change in case law, it's one of those things that has to be adopted and, how do I say, ingrained into your system and operations. Because we have and continue to do mock scenes and training, and do you have the ability, the authority to stop and detain someone? It's one of those ongoing trainings that we use, our reality-based trainings.
Well, I was also at a neighborhood council meeting where an officer incorrectly described what they were allowed to do and not do. And I asked them about that, and they said, well, it's really confusing because other counties do these other things. So I guess, to me, Terry stops are really important. If someone pulls a gun on me, I'd expect the officers to follow up with them, especially when they have the legal ability to do that. I think the general public expects that. And so if officers are confused about that, I guess if this money is meant to help clarify that, that seems like a higher need than carpet if it's still confusing to officers.
Well, actually, and again, not to debate by any means, it actually will continue to help train those officers because it helps maintain the facility that the training is conducted in. And we will continue to do those trainings in the sense that we have our annual trainings there 2 to 3 times a year based on our capacity to do that. Minimum of 20 hours is what we get. So we try to do a minimum of 2 full days of in-service training. Oftentimes we pull a third when we can afford to do so. And that's the facility where we do those trainings.
Well, it sounds like we have funds that could help pull more time. I brought this up months ago to City Administrator and to the Mayor and haven't heard any updates on changing for training because it sounds like we need it.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you, Major Olson.
Thanks.
Thank you, Major. The next special budget ordinance is to provide appropriation authority for funding supporting small businesses, not-for-profit organizations, future education, and a COVID-19 safe community through American Rescue Plan funds. And Council President Beggs, I'll turn that over to you.
Yeah, so this is recommended by the City Council ARPA group, work group, and it's based off of the study session that we held on June 9th. And this was our assessment of what council was supporting for that. And it's in addition to the funds we've already given quite a bit to the fire and police department for vehicles and parks department for repairs and fire overtime and some other things. So this is more community-based, and they kind of speak for themselves.
All right, thank you, Council President. Our next special budget ordinance involves funds from the General Fund and the Management Information Services Fund regarding the need to transfer budget authority from personnel to non-personnel expenses. Our presenter is Carly Courtwright.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, council. This is for transferring some salary savings in ONS's budget to cover the increase in costs regarding to postage and the postcards for the neighborhood cleanup, as well as some software purchases that we made this year for special events and our volunteer software. It has been corrected for next year's budget, so we're covered, but for this year, we do need to use that salary savings. We also did make a job offer. Our new CPC will be starting in September, so that's some good news on that front as well. Thank you.
Well, can't go quite yet. So last week, it was announced that you were leaving us, and I think, but you now can tell us where you're going.
I can tell you where I'm going.
What's your new job?
I'm going to be the Chief Communication and Customer Service Officer at STA.
All right. Well, congratulations on that,
Thank
and
you.
thanks for all your years of service to the city. Really appreciate it. In case
It's
this is the
been
last
an
time
honor.
we see you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll see you across the river.
You will.
Thank you, Carly. Next on our advanced briefing for Monday, August 1, under emergency ordinance, determining the process and criteria for citing essential city facilities. Council President Beggs.
All right. We briefed this in committee previously, and it is essentially adding police precincts to the list of essential city facilities and requiring a certain baseline of community engagement by the government and approval by the city council. It has one provision that allows community members, if they don't think there was a process that met the ordinance, to go to court and require that the process be followed before the services are delivered. It does not allow to question the location of the facility, just the process to get there. And we are still waiting to get some language from Public Works, I believe, or City Legal on making that clear, so that that's crystal clear if that was the Public Works concern. So it'll probably be substituted before it gets presented again.
Thank you. Next item under resolutions is a resolution creating a policy to establish a language access plan to ensure limited English proficiency residents have access to city services, information, and civic processes. Our briefer is Alex Jabalisco, and I believe Alex is online. There he is.
Can't hear you, Alex.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Good afternoon, Administrator and Council members. This language access policy was presented at the June Finance and Administration Committee. This policy is taking steps to provide language access to residents with limited English proficiency by ensuring meaningful access to city meetings and programs and activities. The policy also asks the Office of Civil Rights, Equity, and Inclusion to take the lead in implementing language access citywide by developing language access plan template for departments to use in planning and budgeting. It also prioritizes technical assistance to departments involved in responding to health and safety related emergencies, disaster preparedness and response, recovery programs, and other crisis situations. It asks to work with the Spokane Human Rights Commission to revisit the program and to recommend improvements to the program. Also, significant population segments would be defined as those limited English proficiency groups comprising of 3.5% or 700 residents, whichever is fewer, of people that are eligible or served or likely to be affected. And it was also presented at the Human Rights Commission in June and was unanimously supported.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah,
Any questions?
I just want to thank Alex for all of his work putting this together. And yeah, we had a great presentation at the Human Rights Commission in June. I presented it to the Community Assembly and had a real positive response there as well. And it just seems like it's a pretty important thing that we need to get done. We've been talking about it for 2 going on 3 years. Alex, can you list off if you have it in front of you, the languages that meet that 3.5%, just so folks can hear it?
Yeah, most of the languages meet the 700 number. That's lower, and it varies by geography. But the top languages spoken in Spokane would be English, Russian, Spanish, Vietnamese, and Marshallese.
Okay. Thank you.
Just want to comment, I was, Councilmember Cathcart and I, when COVID hit, this really shone the spotlight of lack of English access to all the services of the cities and what was going on. And I think we were surprised that there wasn't a policy already in place for a second largest city in the state. So we're excited about moving this forward, getting something in place, and actually being prepared, good or bad, to be able to communicate with the citizens of Spokane.
And I just wanted to add, I wanted to thank Council Members Wilkerson and Cathcart for including, and Alex for including me personally, and the administration, and the mayor stands behind this 100%, and will fully enforce and implement this resolution and policy once it's approved. Thank you.
So I assume this will be, I assume this will be updated yearly, and then how are we acquiring our data on population in the city?
I think Alex can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually use a NCS and census surveys. Usually we'll go by 5 years and try to dive deeper into those. There's a few different tables that address language access or limited English proficiency, and also homes that speak other languages besides English. So there's a few different data tables that we can use, and I shared them at the Finance and Administration Committee meeting in June, but I'm more than happy to share some of those data tables for the future, and then coordinate with the Human Rights Commission and the Office of Civil Rights, Equity, and Inclusion to ensure that we're getting the best practice, using the best data that we can.
And Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Human Rights Commission will, on an annual basis, provide input as to whether or not we're addressing enough broad enough languages, correct? And that'll be part of their purview, is to look at the data and make that determination.
Yep, they look at the data and also make recommendations if they see communities that are getting close to hitting the threshold, but are also deeply impacted by not having those access, make those recommendations to the Office of Civil Rights, Equity, and Inclusion, to bring forward.
Thank you, Alex, for that. I just want to comment, in Spokane Public Schools, there are over 70 different languages spoken in the schools in Spokane. So we are a very diverse community.
Wow.
All right. Our next presentation is a first reading ordinance relating to multiple family housing property tax exemptions. Our presenter is Terry Stripes.
Council, thank you. I'm going to cue this up because I would like to take you through the PowerPoint presentation that we did at Urban Experience and explain a couple of changes that's in the ordinance in your packet, okay? Oh, thank you. So when we talked in last at Urban Experience, we're talking about capturing in this update changes that are required by state law, as well as some that were made by the update committee. And then also some of the updates were coming from staff. So essentially, the basis remains the same, but there's a couple of key points that we'll talk about. Again, just as a reminder, why do we use multifamily tax exemption? We use it to spur more income multiple levels of income housing all over the city. We use it to stimulate new additional housing units. We use it to help revitalize our neighborhoods. We use it in conjunction with historic preservation and to revitalize existing structures. So the substantive changes kind of remain the same. We're talking about 2 target areas. We're talking about the Spokane target area investment, which is the distressed census tracts, and we're talking about areas outside of that. We're talking about the state requirements and then the housekeeping items. So again, just to remind you, in that economic distress census area in green, we're only looking at targeting this incentive to City of Spokane property, not within those census tracts that cross city lines. So the targeted investment area, again, in this green area, this is the economically distressed census tracts. And here we want to increase the amount of market rate housing to help bring up those income levels and help bring them out of being distressed. Here's I had showed you an example of a distressed census tract. Here's one that is not qualified as distressed. And then the affordable housing emphasis area, the non-distressed census tracts, we're trying to bring in more affordable units in this update. Again, just another idea of how distressed some of these census tracts are. So I mentioned those changes. So we had brought forward the market rate 8-year in the distressed census tracts, the 12-year at 4 to 11 units at a 20% set aside for affordable. The recommendation that you have in your packet today is for a 25% affordable. At 12 units or more under the 12-year program, we had proposed 25% set aside for income and rent restrictions, and now we're looking at a 30%. The 20-year remains the same. 25% of those units are sold off to a nonprofit for permanent affordable housing for the 20-year exemption. That change of 20 to 25% in the 4 to 11 units, it does impact 3 types of small projects. When you have units of 5, 9, and 10, you will be required to add 1 additional affordable unit. And like with the 5 units, that might be kind of hard because then you're talking nearly 50% of the project. So in making that suggested change, there was one little outlier that I want you to consider. And that, again, that's in section 8.15.090, and it is the 3 under C. This should also be the minimum of 25% set aside on fee simple. So I would recommend that you make that change. And then on page 12, I need you to make a change. This change is because we were trying to introduce for the first time some requirements that we didn't end up congregating those low income or income and rent restricted units in one section of the building. The challenge is that we left in that we would do that in the 20-year program too. And in talking with developers since then, it's not feasible to sell off a unit on this floor or a unit on this floor, especially when we can't build under the current condo laws. So if we eliminate that displacement, it would allow a developer to put those permanent affordable units all into one building, be it a row of townhomes, and then they can sell that off. So please make that change. So again, just another peek at those census tracts. Here's one that is up here in Northwest that is not distressed. The affordable emphasis area, those same changes at 4 to 11 units, 12 plus units are still there. Again, the Pepper map, everybody remembers the Pepper map. Remember, this is a map that is using GIS and just a simple mathematic equation. What is vacant or underutilized today? Does the underlying zoning support multifamily? construction? And if so, where is it located? So some of these lots may be too small for a fourplex or for townhomes, but it shows up on the map. Kind of shows you that this follows our centers and corridors. It follows our primary tracks through town, like Division Street. So the state requirements require additional relocation assistance for those that are in affordable units that are going to increase the rent when the exemption ends. So 1 month's rent is put into place in the code. It adds the commerce audit language. We monitor the program. We income and rent certify all of the qualifying units every year. But this adds Commerce's Washington State Department of Commerce is going to also audit the program. And then you have the 20-year exemption that is now allowed. Housekeeping items, again, this is kind of just little ticky-tack stuff, but strengthen the code on short-term rentals. They are allowed, but they are not property tax exempt. They are a commercial use of the unit, so that does not go into exemption. The non-displacement directions in the code were not clear, so we've strengthened that. This is where, we talked about this last time during our urban experience, Millennium, that's building in the Garland area. They have occupied houses. They have to provide like-type housing for those tenants for the term of their current lease plus 1 year. Then we're going to change our fees. We haven't changed our fees since, I believe it was 2012, and even our recording fees of documents have significantly increased. So we're going to change the fees. And then annual reporting certification, instead of that annual report, remember I said we income and rent certify those tenants, plus every unit that utilizes this incentive, market rate or not, has to confirm with us that it is still a residential unit. So we manage about 300 properties currently. So instead of them trickling in every week, a couple at a time, I'd like them to all come in at one time so that we can better manage that process. And then we were including that distribution of units within the project. So that was, we talked about that earlier. That's one of the changes I need you to make. Again, just another peek at those distress census tracts. Councilman Cathcart?
Yeah, are the fees what they're at now, and then what you're proposing to increase them to? Is that in the ordinance?
It's in your strike through in the ordinance.
Okay,
yes.
I'll take a look at that.
Any additional questions? Thank you.
I would just, Terry, if you could forward us a version with the language tweaks that you wanted, that'd be great, and we can substitute.
Is council agreeable to changing the fee simple to 25% too?
What's the change? I'm sorry.
So when we make the change in the affordability, here, this outlier stood out. In the case of where you're building a product that is fee simple, we left it hanging at 20% instead of changing it to 25%, which the ordinance does capture.
But you're identifying it as owner occupancy. So you don't mean the person developing the project is living on site. That's how I interpreted that. You just mean that it's a fee simple.
It's a fee
owner-occupied
simple,
project.
like a townhome or a condo.
Okay.
Yeah, we just didn't catch that, so you're just making it consistent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll make both of those and circulate it through on base before you guys hear this at hearing on August 15th.
I'll quickly say I was glad to see that we kept market rate without any
Hannah Lee, I lost what?
affordability requirements. I think that's going to help drive that economic diversity throughout the city. So,
Thank you.
That concludes.
All right, we're back to where we started the first reading of ordinance on the camping, and if you had a motion.
Yes, I'd like to move to defer indefinitely. I'm still getting drafts from our legal department. I want to make sure that we get this right, not that we just get it. So I'm asking to defer this.
Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would be in opposition. I mean, it feels like a bad faith effort because there's obviously a version that's preferred by others on this council, and so I think this action is simply taking one version out of play and putting another in play that may not meet the needs that we're trying to address. And so I don't support the deferral for that reason.
I just want to correct one thing. There's no other one pending. So it's the legal memo we got today was that both of the versions needed extensive work. So it's not elevating one over the other because there is no other one. They're both on that. So. But Councilmember Stratton.
Yeah, I just want to be clear. I didn't see the memo, but I've heard that there are legal issues related to both that came forward. So even if that other one came forward, I would support tabling it and getting it right. I'm really concerned when I hear the statement, we can pass this, it's a good thing to pass, and we'll deal with the lawsuits as they come in. That just absolutely frustrates me. So I support this, and I would support it for that second one as well, because I think there's a lot of work to be done, and I would like to limit any lawsuits if we possibly could, so.
Councilmember Bingle.
On the topic of lawsuits, I think it's important to note that both Seattle and San Francisco have been sued successfully by property owners for not enforcing their laws, and so we are, I think, equally as open to lawsuit if we don't move forward, and I think that's an important point.
Councilmember Kinnear and then Councilmember Cathcart.
Moving forward responsibly and moving forward are two different things. And I rely on our legal department and the people that I work with to be absolutely straight with me and clear, and that's what I'm doing right now. I trust our legal department. I trust the person who I've been working with to tell me the truth, because that's what she's always done.
Councilmember Cathcart and then Councilmember Ringel.
Yeah, I would just add, if this doesn't pass the deferral indefinitely, I will offer a month deferral as an alternative.
Councilmember Bingle.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying. We have also worked with the legal department, and the advice we've been given on it has been different, and so I don't understand where the disconnect is in that department. But we have challenged this thing. We have scrutinized this thing to the letter of every single piece that has been through here. And so while some in the legal department might say they're not sure, others in the department have told us pretty clearly that they believe it's solid. So
They're not saying it's not sure. They're not sure. They're saying this has issues and it needs, we can do better. And I think we can do better.
And I will just note, I've been hesitant to get into details on it because I think we should do it in executive session.
Right.
But they're based on what we got today, and it was privileged and confidential, so we can't really. It seemed like there's at least a serious discussion, as you've mentioned, that people are on the same page. And again, the memo was addressed to both versions. It didn't favor one over the other, so I thought that was good.
I would second the amendment to make it a month.
All right. Did you make an amendment?
I just suggested if this doesn't pass,
Okay.
I will make
Okay,
that.
all right, so there's not an amendment. Okay, so all those in favor of tabling indefinitely indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so I think that was 5-2 to table indefinitely. Okay. All right, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? All right, that agenda is approved. Turning to tonight's agenda, we had a couple of issues in consent to brief that we weren't able to brief last week, and I'll turn those over to you, Ken.
Thank you, Council President. These are on the consent agenda for contract renewal with ESO Solutions out of Dallas, Texas for annual subscription fees for the incident record management system. And item 3, contract amendment with Infor Public Sector to add a station alerting interface to the city's computer-aided dispatch. And our briefer is Bradley Dill.
Hi, Bradley Dills with Spokane Fire Department, council members. So the first one, the ESO, it's our fire RMS and fire EMS and records management system. just an annual renewal for the licensing of that. Any questions on that? Okay.
And I just
Sorry.
I just want to
Stratton.
say you're a rock star for sitting through all of that. Thank
Thanks.
you.
And then the second one is for an addendum to our fire dispatch system for an interface for the Spokane Valley Fire Department, which will then be re-encumbered or paid back through an ILA through SHREC.
Can you explain what that is
What that
in lay
is.
terms?
So that interface is for station alerting that the valley's moving from our current system, which is a locution system, to a different one through, I forget the name of the company. But it's a separate system that required software and interfacing between our CAD system and their new contracted
So they're
vendor.
changing their system. We have to purchase an interface to the new system, but they're going to reimburse us for that?
Correct. Yeah, we're the stewards of the contract with Infor. So we have to purchase it, and then they will reimburse us back.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I think you're released.
Thank you, Bradley.
So I'm looking on our agenda, and I see a motion on the resolutions on page 8 to request a substitute version of Resolution 0070, which is the abortion access resolution. We filed it, it's online, but it hasn't been officially substituted.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion on substitution?
Well, I haven't seen it, so what are the changes?
It is online, it's been there since Friday, but it essentially, I don't know that there's any substantive changes. I don't know, Councilmember Bingle, you looked at it close because you had a lot of amendments, but it was just, we're essentially, after our last briefing, Councilmember Bingle raised some issues, and it tried to address those issues and other just workshopping language, but nothing, I don't think anything substantive, in my opinion, but.
Let me find it. Yeah, I think just the bigger changes were the ones on things that I had brought up. So in the the one on the investigation switched from just being investigated to investigated for the purposes of people coming to the city of Spokane to get abortion. I think that was the biggest change that I saw in there. I saw that we also now, instead of saying pregnant individuals, we say pregnant woman and pregnant individual, so that change was also made. But I believe those were the biggest ones.
Yeah. That is my recollection as well, but I appreciate, because I was trying to address what you raised. Anyway, any discussion about the motion to substitute? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of substituting indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay?
Nay.
Nay.
5-2, substituted. And I think we've covered everything that we need to cover. So we will be adjourned until 6 p.m.
The amendments
Oh.
to the resolution?
Sorry?
Happy to do it tonight. If that's
No,
what
we should do it now.
preference.
We should do it now. No, thank you. I printed them out so that I would have them. So,
Only have one set.
okay, so now that it's been substituted, all right. You each have some amendments. Do you have a preference or between who goes first?
Council, you can go first.
Sure. So, so I sent this morning 5 amendments. I had several others, but I just felt for the sake of both time and streamlining things, I would try to reduce it and narrow the scope. So the first amendment, and again, this was based on the original version. I don't think any of the changes affect these, but just an FYI. So Amendment 1 is the now therefore be it resolved section, and it simply strikes, it says, City of Spokane recognizes and then strikes, supports and reaffirms the vitality of. And that's the amendment.
Okay. So that's your motion
That's the
to
motion.
amend? In a second?
Second, yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Okay.
Nay. Okay. That fails 2-5. Next one.
My second amendment, be it further resolved, understanding that abortions will remain legal in Washington indefinitely, despite any decisions made by the U.S. Supreme Court, the Spokane City Council hereby advocates for the following policy consideration. The use of abortion for purposes of gender selection shall not be lawful.
Okay. Second.
Second, yes.
Any discussion?
Yes. So it's a resolution, and you're, talk about that.
Yeah, it's a resolution on an issue that we have nothing to do with, so I'm adding things that we also have nothing to do with.
All right, got it. Fabulous, okay.
Did you have further comment? 'Cause
I
you had your
do,
hands
yes.
raised. Yes, go ahead.
Well, I think it's really important that we think about this. I mean, if we're going to talk about abortion, then it's really important that we consider what is happening around the world when it comes to abortion. Places like China, India, for decades, they have literally had policies in place that allowed and legalized, if not encouraged, the killing of babies based on gender. And that is not something that we ever want to consider here in the United States. We should be embracing and loving and doing everything we can for children regardless of their gender. And so I just want to make sure that it's clear that we oppose the use of abortion for the purposes of gender selection.
Any other commentary? Okay. All those in favor of Amendment 2?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Okay, so I think that's 4-3, or 3-4? That fails. Amendment 3.
Be it further resolved, understanding that abortions will remain legal in Washington State, same language, ... The use of abortion for the purposes of sexual orientation selection shall not be lawful. That's the motion.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
So does that mean that if I'm coming to Spokane to have an abortion because of gender selection, that the police can arrest me or not arrest me? Because I thought this was about just, if I live in Idaho and I want to come to Spokane for services at an abortion provider, I'm not going to have a police officer checking my ID and arresting me and investigating me.
I mean, it's ultimately a resolution, so I don't think it gives any sort of enforcement.
So this is just to make a point.
Well, I think the whole thing is trying to make a point, so.
That's how we're going to have a fun night tonight.
Yeah. I was just going to say that conflating these issues with the issues there is just challenging to me. I think it confuses. So I'm voting no on most of these for that reason, not because I have an opinion about the merits or demerits of them. It's confusing the issue that's before us, in my opinion. So just explaining. Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, I would just to say my piece, I think it's important to, to think about, science is I think continuing to evolve on this issue, but more and more there seems to be more science that indicates, a genetic connection between, people's sexual orientation. And so if there is a specific thing that is identified, I think the last thing we would want is abortion being used to try and eliminate that from our community.
Council President.
Councilmember Zepone.
I was just wondering, Councilmember, if you can explain what medical test is done to a fetus to determine its sexual orientation.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's evolving science. They're looking at the XY chromosomes, trying to find where and how, if there is a link there. There's been ongoing scientific studies on this. So whether or not it exists today, it is an ongoing area of research, and it may be something that they can identify. And at that point in time, it would be too late if you don't have those protections in place.
So not relevant right now. But I'm wondering, since the Supreme Court could potentially be rolling back protections for LGBTQ people in marriage, if you agree that it's not a choice to identify as LGBTQ, would you also support a resolution in support of same-sex marriage?
Well, again, we have nothing to do with marriage, so I don't know why that would come before this body.
Well, if you're proposing this, it seems like it could be relevant to make a point too.
Might be. So bring it and we'll have that conversation.
Any other discussion? No. All right. All those in favor of Amendment 3 indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, nay.
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 Nay. Okay. That fails 2 to 5. Amendment 4.
Okay. Be it further resolved, the use of abortion for the purposes of preventing the birth of children with genetic disorders, such as Down syndrome, shall not be lawful.
Any discussion on that?
Did you second it?
I did second it, yeah.
Thank you.
Council President.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just say, so in the country of Iceland, this has been something that they have pursued. They have used abortion as a tool to reduce the instances of Down syndrome in their population. It's certainly something that concerns me. I mean, I think every life is valuable, and it doesn't matter if you're born with Down syndrome or something else. I mean, I think you are somebody who should be valued as a human being. So I just don't think that that is something that we should consider here in Spokane or Washington State.
And I'll just repeat my point that this isn't the state of, any of these are not the state of the law in Washington, which we are defending in this resolution. And it conflates and confuses the issue, so I'm opposing it on that grounds. Any other discussion?
I'm just, I think I probably just disagree that it conflates the issue. I think, for example, this last one that Councilmember Cathcart brought up, you know, in our family, we've had instances where, you know, a baby was going to be born without a hand, and the doctors have encouraged family members to get abortions on that basis. And so one side of this issue here by our resolution bringing it forward is to affirm a woman's right to abortion. The other side is opposing it, and for certain reasons. And I don't think it conflates the issue. I think it is very much at the heart of the issue.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of Amendment 4 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay?
Nay.
Nay. And again, that's 2 to 5. Doesn't advance. Amendment 5.
Yeah, this is the last one that I submitted. Be it further resolved, parental or guardian notification with judicial bypass options shall be a requirement for any abortion by a non-emancipated minor.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, I think this just goes to the heart of, you know, parents have a right to know. It's a really important thing. Many states have this requirement that parents be notified, but they also have what's called judicial bypass, so that if there is an instance where there has been some sort of an illegal activity that's resulted in the pregnancy, there's abuse, there's whatever it might be, they have a way to get around these rules. But in those instances where that's not the case, parents should have the right to know what is happening with their children.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the amendments indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay?
Nay.
Okay. Council Member Bingle.
Yes. So I have 4 amendments that I'm bringing forward. So the first of the 4 basically strikes out any place where it says pregnant individual and just makes it consistent to say pregnant woman. I know in many of these places we say pregnant woman and pregnant individual. I think that's redundant. I think we should just leave it pregnant woman or women's. So that's my first amendment.
Second.
Yeah, and just to be clear, if anyone's watching, this was circulated previously, so the strikeouts and underlines are there. So,
yes.
Any discussion? Councilmember Zappone.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you thought a trans person who does not identify as a woman should be able to get an abortion.
only women can get pregnant, is what I would say.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Were you and I, Councilmember Cathcart?
Aye.
Okay, sorry. All those opposed, nay?
Nay.
Nay. All right. 2 to 5. Didn't pass. Next one, Councilmember Rangel.
Okay, my second amendment just strikes out the last finally be it resolved on the investigation piece. And mostly, I just have a question. I don't know if there's any other issue in the city where we tell the police, hey, don't investigate, don't cooperate with other agencies and ask them for,
Yes.
Yeah.
We do. We have.
okay,
Yes.
what's an example of that?
Immigration? Yes.
Yes.
At the intermodal center?
Okay.
And that was police policy, that wasn't council doing it. We affirmed that, but the police already had a policy.
Do the police have this policy as well?
No, you asked for other policy.
No, I know, and you said that we affirmed their policy, and so I was asking
No.
if the police currently have
The
this one.
immigration piece.
Right.
We haven't heard from the police on this
Right,
one.
right, okay.
That's where, okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second? Any discussion, further discussion? Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, I just think I have been a little concerned about the idea of limiting investigations. I mean, we don't have the resources to do much with other states' laws anyway, so I don't think that that's really at issue, and it's not a major concern if we do or don't comply with that for me. Bigger than that, though, is the potential for domestic violence, rape, incest, those sorts of things that could be occurring, illegal things that could be occurring, and I just worry, and I'm flying a little blind because I haven't seen the updated language, but I worry that limiting investigations could have an unintended consequence of limiting those investigations, and I think that that's something that we absolutely do not want to do.
Yeah. And there's nothing in the resolution that I've seen that would limit those investigations, but point taken. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of this amendment indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
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 Okay, so that's 2 to 5. Doesn't pass. Next amendment.
All right, so amendment number 3 on the be it further resolved. Originally, it said, that the Spokane City Council urges our federal delegation to immediately pass legislation codifying the rights to abortion, reproductive health care, personal autonomy that are currently provided by Washington law to residents of and visitors to Washington and other reproductive, to ensure that all people in Spokane and across the nation have the right to their personal privacy and bodily autonomy that are needed for their own health care decisions. This one says, this amendment says, be it further resolved that the City of Spokane be it further resolved that the Spokane City Council urges our federal delegation to immediately pass legislation defining life as being from the moment of conception and afforded protections as guaranteed by the 14th Amendment.
Okay, any discussion?
I will second for the purposes of discussion.
Any discussion?
I just think it's really important. One of the reasons why abortion is such a hot topic is because we seem to fundamentally disagree on when a human life is a life. Anything less than protecting life at the beginning from the moment of conception treats that life as it is subhuman. And what I think we need to do as a country is define it from the moment of conception, and it must be protected.
Any further discussion? Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, I'm going to vote no on the amendment, only because I believe that this is a state's issue, not a federal one. I don't believe we should have federal laws on abortion. I believe the states should set those laws, and so for that reason, I'll be voting no.
Okay. All those in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Okay, that's 1 to 6. It doesn't pass. And I believe you have one more amendment.
Yes, and then the last one is just in the be it resolved. Instead of it saying the City of Spokane or the Spokane City Council, it switches that to say the majority of the City Council. So that's the last one, because as we're going to hear tonight, a large amount of the city fundamentally disagrees with this issue. It's a violation of their conscience for many reasons. And for us to say that the City of Spokane affirms this on behalf of the entire city, I think is offensive to those who do see this as a fundamental issue. And so I've switched it to say the majority of the city council.
Councilmember Cathcart.
I would agree, and in fact, I think that it's incredibly important that we be specific as to who is actually advocating or saying certain things, and it's certainly not the entire city. One of the things that really frustrates me about these types of resolutions and why I don't think they should come forward, frankly, is because it simply divides our community. This is an issue that, depending on, the exemptions, the nuances, I mean, it's 50-50, 60-40, but it's a really close issue depending on what you're talking about. And so when we do resolutions like this, we're not really speaking on behalf of the city, we're speaking on behalf of ourselves. But what it serves to do is it divides, and it really makes people feel like they're not welcome. They're not part of the clique, the group, the whatever that's in power, whatever it might be, but they feel left out. And that applies to both sides. It doesn't matter what the issue is. The more controversial the issue, the more that's an issue. And I believe this is something that is best addressed at the state level, perhaps the federal, although that would not be my choice, but it certainly is not the city. And so I think it makes a ton of sense that we would update this to reflect who is actually stating these things and that it is the majority of the city council.
Any other comment? Councilmember Zepone?
Yeah, I would just say everything we vote on doesn't say the majority of city council. So it would be strange to all of a sudden make this different than the rest. When we make decisions, we make it on behalf of the city of Spokane. I would also say that the Supreme Court started this division by overturning a law that has been set for over 50 years. And if we're going to start with pointing fingers, we should look at other places to start pointing those fingers.
So just in response to that, I mean, the idea that we can't go back and revisit past law, that means that like Plessy versus Ferguson should remain in effect simply because the Supreme Court ruled. But 60 years later, 55 years later, they came back with Brown versus Board of Education. So, I mean, we'd still be living under, the rules of Plessy. So I don't think that that's a solid argument at all. I mean, the Supreme Court is going to make their determinations the best they can, and so I don't think that just simply time is the factor in why something is wrong or right.
I would just add this is the first time the Supreme Court is rolling back freedoms that have been previously granted. But
well, one would argue. Sorry, I apologize. I apologize. Yep.
Well, no, both of you
Yeah.
volunteered without that. So have you finished your thought, Councilmember Zepone? Okay, Councilmember Mingle.
I apologize. But yeah, I think one would argue that freedom to be born is something that was rolled back in the 1973 case when the Supreme Court first waded into the topic of abortion. It didn't first wade into it this year. It first waded in back in the 70s and rolled back a bunch of laws and invalidated a bunch of laws that were on the books at the state level back then. So the divisiveness of this issue didn't begin this year with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court jumped in the 70s in a way that they shouldn't have. And legal experts right, left, and center will tell you it was a badly determined case. And so it's something that rightfully was undone.
Any more discussion on this amendment? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay?
Nay.
Nay. All right, 2-5. All right, any other amendments?
I think
Those
that's
are the most
all mine.
amendments we've ever had in my 6.5 years. With that, we are adjourned until 6 p.m.